Hello and welcome to SBA Today. I am Paul.
And I'm Tanya. And today we have 3 top stories for you. So, why deals don't close? Oh, yeah. Number one on that one's going to be a shocker for you. Mr. Wonderful even says business owners and developers do this. And there is a bomb brewing on Capitol Hill. Oh,
Dun,
Lord.
dun, dun.
Yeah. So, hey, we tried something a little different this morning. You guys know who's Tanya and who's Paul? You don't need to know our titles, do you?
That's right. You
So
can
you
get
know
us
what
on
we're going to bring
LinkedIn.
to you today.
Wonderful. Did you have a good weekend, Tanya?
I had an amazing weekend, and it got a little warm here in Colorado, so I was like in my happy place. I think I'm
I
even kind of wearing some fun springish clothes because I'm ready for it, even though it's still February.
I wish it was like that here in old Washington, all rainy and cold.
Nope, sunny
Well,
in
hey, I
Colorado.
want to jump into kind of a customer service story. We all go through things in life, and sometimes it's good to reflect on some of those things. So I have kind of a customer service disaster that I've been facing for it's now been going on about 4 or 5 months
Oh wow!
with a certain large name cell carrier. I'll be nice and not say what it is. But got a new phone, you get a trade-in credit, right? And they say, oh, once you send in your phone, we'll give you a credit over 36 months or whatever. It's been 6 months, I got nothing, okay?
Mm.
So I'm getting a little frustrated with this. Each month I call, oh, yes, sir, we opened up a ticket for you. Oh, sure. And then the ticket goes into La La Land. And every time I have to call, sit on hold, if you've ever called the IRS, it takes forever, and worst case scenario, they'll hang up on you midway. So I went back to the person who sold me the phone 6 months ago. Thank God they were still around, okay? I go there, I tell him the situation. He's like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about that. There's really nothing I can do for you. You have to call this 1-800 number. I had one of the, after I calmed down, after sitting in my car for a moment, beating up on my steering wheel, this is exactly what happens in a BDO's life, right?
Yep.
And a really good BDO will find a way to help solve the problem, even though the loan may be closed and you're off to something else. Don't be the person, I got my commission, this is now someone else's problem. At the moment, you're going to think that that's the best way to do it. But long term, that person will never trust you again for another one. And we're in the relationship business. We're in the relationship with brokers, with our customers, with everything. And when you have that type of an experience, I will never go back to that person. His name is literally gone out of my mind. I'll never use him again. And let's be real, that company is not very high on my love list right now.
Right.
Even though I actually ended up having to email the CEO of I Don't Sit Around. So I went around, I emailed the CEO, and you know what? In 12 hours, I got my problem fixed. It's an
Weird.
amazing thing when you go to the top. But again, the biggest takeaway on this is be a good human. Do
Right.
what's right for your customer. Do what's right for your broker. So
You know what's
I had
crazy
to
with
share
that,
that.
Paul? What's wild with that is I literally just yesterday got a call, right, from a prospective borrower. Um, Crazy thing, they're in the industry of banking, right?
Ah,
And they have a side business. And a large bank that I will not say did the loan. The lender did the loan a couple of years ago. You know, startup loan acquisition or startup loan. And basically, they called the person and asked to get a guarantor removed. Now, the guarantor doesn't make any money, doesn't have anything really to do with it,
oh,
doesn't have any assets that they're bringing to the table, so it's collateral wise. And this party is willing to give a piece of collateral that they own in addition to get this
yeah.
problematic guarantor off. And went to the person that did their loan. The lender's like, oh, I'm sorry, I only deal with new money. I am not even kidding. That was the exact word. I think my eyes got huge. My mouth dropped. It was like, kind of like that just did.
Yep.
That's what gives us a bad name, guys. I mean, when somebody comes back after the fact, like Paul said, do your service. I mean, give the service because you've made your money as far as commission or anything, but it's still your
Mhm.
customer and it's still your bank. And both of those rely on who we are. So rather than be the big bad bank or the big bad lender, like Paul said, be a human. Be a human.
That's right.
Anyway. Well, Paul, I'm so glad you brought that up because that literally happened yesterday. And I was like, you got
It
to be kidding
happens
me.
in all of our worlds, and we
It's
just need to remember
ridiculous.
what we're
It
doing.
frustrates the heck out of me, I tell you what. But okay, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our top stories. Our first one now is, are we going to bring up that?
We
Let's
got the
bring up
chart. Yes.
we got that chart. Small
Our
business trends
friends at
from
Murphy
Murphy.
Business Sales brought
Mhm.
this.
Thank you guys for bringing that out too.
Yeah.
So,
So why deals don't
mhm.
close? Now, number one, we told you, we warned you, number one's a real shocker, I'm sure, with all sarcasm included. Unrealistic seller value expectation of 23%.
Yep.
We have, all of us who have been on this phone for, or on this podcast for a while and have been in this industry have seen values. You do your value on your little calculator or whatever you do, and you're like, where did they pull that number from? So I actually thought that number would be higher. What do you think, Tanya?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's no different. Commercial real estate, businesses, residential real estate, it's all the
Mhm.
same. We have an emotional attachment to what we have. We think it's worth a heck of a lot more than it is. And yeah, we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot with it.
You can't be afraid to say your baby's ugly.
Oh, no. If my kiddos are listening, y'all are so pretty
You're
and
beautiful.
handsome.
Another one on here that was kind of shocking to me
Yeah.
was poor financials at 15%. I actually would have thought that would have been higher just
Yeah.
because when people are going through the due diligence stage on a business acquisition, I would think that that would be just a little bit larger.
Right.
Start peeling
Well,
back
all
that.
of these, if you think about where we're at currently with economic situation and just in general, all of these kind of fit the bill of why we're seeing what we're seeing. You know, a one that was kind of surprising or not surprising, I guess, to me was the lack of seller prep. Because if you think about it, I mean, I tell our borrowers all the time, CPAs, let's say, right? CPAs,
Yep.
they're going to do what they're supposed to do, and they are helping within the law, right, for these businesses to write off what they can and pay as little taxes as they can. But if you're getting ready to sell a business or if you're getting ready to do something different with your business, you need to recognize that we banks are going to come in and look at those financials and we want to see you making money, not writing it all off.
That is absolutely correct. And make
Yeah,
sure you have a good business broker like somebody from Murphy's in order to be able to do that because they will help you do that.
absolutely. Well, let's go into the Mr. Wonderful. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and let's play that video?
Yeah,
Just a
let's play
short little
that
clip,
clip.
guys, so you can see what we're talking about.
Well, let's leave out Trump for a minute and let's leave out politics and just talk about what happens in real estate development anywhere. So if you're a developer and you've got a building on a block anywhere in America and it's worth, let's say, $500 million and you want to build a building right beside it, you go to the bank and say, this building is worth $500 million. I'd like to borrow a construction finance loan against this asset. And I want you to tell me it's worth 500 million too. And the bank negotiates with you and says, well, no, we think it's worth 400 million. And you fight it out. You're always trying to show your assets in the brightest light with the sunshine you can possibly determine for them. You want them to be worth the very most because you're only going to get a 40 or 50% loan to value, as it's called. Then you borrow that money. In the case of a $500 million asset, maybe you get $250 million, and you build a new building with a construction finance loan. And so that's what this case is all about. And by the way, forget about Trump. Every single real estate developer everywhere on earth does this. They always talk about their asset being worth a lot, and the bank says no. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of meat in that.
Exactly it, too. I
first and
loved how
foremost,
he did that. I mean, if people go and watch the whole thing, I swear I just was I think I started crying a little bit. I was laughing so hard because it's so true.
it's true. Now, the only thing that bothered me a little bit is he goes, the banks only lend 40 to 50% loan to value. Really? Like, maybe it's just my institution, and thank God for SBA lending, right? But he is absolutely right. That does happen in all of our businesses, right? Now, let's be real. If I have an asset that's worth $1 million and I say it's worth 20 million, come on, are you really realistic? Like, you're painting a different picture. If you have $1 million asset and you say it's worth 2 million, I'm probably a little more forgiving. That's why we all do, in our underwriting, we do evaluated net worths, and we go through and we discount, some of the net worth to make it what it is. But
you know what I saw in that, Paul, is, I mean,
Huh.
we have a chance as banks have a chance to go back and say, no, we think it's worth this, and stick to our guns or not stick to our guns. So like in this case, I don't disagree. Nobody lost
Yep.
money, and the bank isn't the one that's going back, doing anything about this. And we're not even going to talk the politics around timing or anything along those lines. However, if this goes through on something along these lines, I agree it's going to be something that's going to affect our real estate developers across the world, because yes, everybody does it. And you know what? If they don't want them to do it, well, there's laws in place that says they can, right?
And that's
They're
the whole
all
part of
to
underwriting.
do.
Do
Yep,
the numbers make sense? Does the collateral make sense? Does
100%.
the cash flow make sense? Like that's a part of it.
And
So
shame on the dang bank. If a bank were to do this, shame on the bank for saying okay and giving in if that's not what they believe the value was.
correct.
It's on the bank.
Correct.
So,
That's agreed. That's why we pay these things called appraisers.
right? Right?
Yeah. So that was a good one. Thank you for sharing that one, Tanya.
Yeah, no kidding. I liked it as well. So what's our next one, Mr. Boom?
Well, there's another bomb that's brewing in Capitol Hill that everyone probably knows about. Another possible government shutdown. We should turn this into a drinking game, because as often as this
Every
friggin'
time they
happens,
say it, take a shot. Yeah.
oh my
I bet we
God.
get some really good deals done that fall off the books real fast.
Right. So, so I think it is March 1st deadline. So get your E-Tran authorizations in if you got something close to the finish line. Do I think it's going to happen? I really don't. But you could very well use this clip against me next week, and we'll have a different conversation.
Well, and how are you supposed to do it? I mean, it's been an ongoing for how many months now? 6? I mean, it's half the daggum year that who knows what's going to happen. I just wish they would find a solution so we can get out of this mess.
That is absolutely true. Yeah. So we'll see what happens next week, but watch your pipelines and be friends with E-Tran today and this week. So
absolutely.
We have a big announcement. I think it's big. I think it's absolutely amazing. We are now on Spotify podcasts. This is going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts later on this week, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So if you're in the car, you can listen to Tanya and Paul. If you're in the bathroom listening to podcasts.
Oh, no. You did not just go there. Really? Really? Please do not listen to this in the bathroom. That so does not, no way. No, Paul. Rewind.
Don't deny you don't listen to podcasts in the bathroom. Just saying.
Oh goodness. Yes.
So
we're pretty excited about it. It gives you guys an opportunity to actually watch it on your time frame. Or listen to it on your time frame, preferably not in the bathroom. But just saying. All right. So that wraps us up for today. We will see you guys at 2 p.m. Next week, same time, same place, and look forward to it.
See you later.
Yeah.